As someone who's made a living counting down top 10 and everything, take it from me. When it comes to delicious, affordable, home-cooked meals, Blue Apron is #1. Blue Apron delivers fresh ingredients right to your door with your choice of easy-to-follow recipes that even I can cook, like the skillet vegetable chili with cornmeal and cheddar drop biscuits. For just $10 per meal per person, I can eat fresher food without breaking the bank. And so can you. Check out this week's menu and get your first 3 meals free with free shipping by going to blueapron.com/top10. You'll love how good it feels and tastes to create incredible home-cooked meals with Blue Apron. I know I do. That's blueapron.com/top10. Blue Apron, a better way to cook. Movies based on video games suck, but as long as the vast majority of them just are garbage, we figured it might be a fun idea to look at the ones that are the least sucky, if that's possible. Mind you, this is a list that looks at the movies we would prefer to watch, whether they're semi-decent or entertainingly bad. Here we go. Hey, I'm Nervous Nick for Screw Attack's Top 10 Video Game Movies.
Number 10.
With a $200 million budget, there were a lot of hopes for Disney's adaptation of Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time. And even though it's no Oscar-winning masterpiece, hey, you could do a whole lot worse turning a Ubisoft franchise into a movie. And eventually they did. World-renowned, totally Arabian actor Jake Gyllenhaal stars as the titular Prince Dastan, who wields a dagger that reverses time at the press of a button. No, I don't know why they put a button on a dagger, but at least it helps him stop Ben Kingsley from turning back time so a lion can eat his brother, which would ensure he would have no heir so that he could be the king forever. Or something like that. Still, Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time features some decent music and visuals that add up to a passable, but forgettable video game adaptation.
Number 9.
Sometimes there are characters who seem like they're as good a fit for film as they are for gaming. With one look at Lara Croft, movie producers saw an easy bet for a summer blockbuster. Lara Croft Tomb Raider not only did wonders to put Angelina Jolie on the map, but managed to stay true to the games before it. The movie did a great job of taking us on a globe-trotting action-adventure, complete with a handsome love interest, slimy bad guy, and all the henchman fodder to sell Lara Croft as the next big female action hero. But for all the positives going for it, Lara Croft Tomb Raider was not great. As spectacular as some of the action was, the story was some nonsense about an artifact that controls space and time, something about the Illuminati, John Voight was there, it was just a huge mess. But we'll give credit where it's due. This is one of the few video game movies out there that managed to turn its lead character into a household name.
Number 8.
Shut up, it's on the list. You can't undo it, it's there forever. No, Super Mario Bros. Is not a good movie by any stretch of the imagination. There are too many behind-the-scenes disaster stories to count, but hey, at least it stayed true to the source material. I mean, everybody knows that Super Mario Bros. Is about 2 plumbers jumping through a magical rock to find another magical rock, which will let Dennis Hopper take over the world if it's inserted into another magical rock. I love how it accurately captured the depressing Blade Runner-esque atmosphere the games are so famous for, and those Goombas? Spot on. But seriously, everybody's got that one sucky movie they can't bring themselves to truly hate because they grew up with it not knowing any better. And for me, that movie is Super Mario Bros. Yes, it is bad, but man, it's fascinating.
What single-cell organism did you evolve from?
Tyrannosaurus Rex, the Lizard King. Thank you very much.
Hold on, what?
Number 7.
Street Fighter movies are usually the kinds that make me want to put various power tools through my brain, but far and away, the least horrible of them all is Street Fighter 2, the animated movie. It thrives on the simple pleasure of seeing your favorite characters from the game in cinematic fight scenes, but with some semblance of a story to boot. Everybody gets a bit of screen time here, including the legendary battle between Ryu and Sagat. You know, the one where Sagat gets a giant scar, Ryu leaves him for dead? Classic. But best of all, it's got that Chun-Li scene. Yeah, you know which one I'm talking about. The one where she's in her apartment and then she throws a couch at Vega. That scene was so good.
Number 6.
There have been over a half-dozen live-action movies in the Resident Evil franchise, and most of them are garbage. But there are a few hidden CG movies which have taken the series in exciting new directions, and Resident Evil Vendetta is their best adventure yet. You know how people said Resident Evil 5 was like playing an action movie? That's one of the biggest strengths of Resident Evil Vendetta. It is an action movie. Resident Evil Vendetta is filled with nods to favorite characters, disgusting creatures, and some top-notch action moments. That rooftop fight with Leon Kennedy? Dope. It may not be Resident Evil the way you remember it, but at least Vendetta gives us one heck of a roller coaster ride.
Number 5.
The late 90s were seemingly dominated by Pokémon. The games led to the anime, and the anime gave way to, what else? A theatrically released feature film. Pokémon the first movie is the kind of film you remember fondly only because you were part of the hive mind leading up to its release that had already decided it was the bestest movie ever. But we'll put it as high as number 5 for one big reason: Mewtwo's extended origin story. You may have seen this in some home-released versions of the movie, or if you saw it in Japanese theaters back in the day, but the uncut 15-minute story not only made the villain of the film way more sympathetic, it was legitimately great. It even explained why Pokemon Tears mysteriously resurrect Ash at the end of the movie, which is better than the zero explanation we actually got. We love this intro so much that we'd probably put it toward the top were it not followed by an hour and 15 minutes of stupid.
Number 4.
You know, they could have left Final Fantasy alone after the meteor incident. Instead, they gave us Final Fantasy VII Advent Children with Cloud, Tifa, and all of our favorites from the game. Yeah, sure, the story isn't really anything to get excited about, and let's be honest here, the reason this movie is so much fun to watch is the action. Cloud's fighting mutant zombie dogs on a bike, Tifa's flipping around like a ninja, and holy crap, it's Bahamut! And the Cloud vs. Sephiroth fight is absolutely nuts! Now Cloud's on a motorcycle fighting guys on motorcycles who throw motorcycles with their legs! Also, his sword is 5 swords. Man, now I kinda wish the game were like this.
Number 3.
Coming in at number 3 is everybody's favorite song from the summer of 1995. Chris Lambert, Robin Shou, Johnny Tsunami's grandpa? Man, who knew that a video game movie could feature such an all-star cast? Now, we may totally appreciate what a trash movie this is in the eyes of a bunch of stuffy Academy types, but when you consider the source material, Mortal Kombat nails what's so great about it. You've got every single character from the first game. Sub-Zero and Scorpion, Kano who's a total jerk, Sonya Blade, Johnny Cage, and even Goro. Throw in some half-decent special effects and it's like Bloodsport in Outworld. Sure, the dialogue is awful.
Spare him, my Lord Raiden. American life has enfeebled his mind. Too much television.
But that's not why you're watching Mortal Kombat. You watch it for the diverse cast of combatants all fighting in a tournament to the death. That's what Mortal Kombat's all about, and this movie totally delivered.
Number 2.
Praised as one of the scariest games of its time, it's no real surprise that the movie adaptation treatment was given to Silent Hill. Even though the characters and plot don't completely line up with the games, the tone syncs up perfectly with the source material. But the biggest hallmarks of Silent Hill are not only in this movie, they flat out steal the show. Visuals like the knife-wielding nurses and the classic pyramid head left a lasting impression on moviegoers, even when the characters and story, well, didn't. I know we're talking about video game movies here, but when Roger Ebert himself calls it an incredibly good-looking film, you know that some kind of miracle happened here. Speaking of miracles, did you know that freaking Sean Bean is in this movie? And his character doesn't die? What's that about?
It's number 1.
While this may come as a bit of a surprise to you, fans of Level 5's magnum opus will recognize that Professor Layton and the Eternal Diva is not only a great movie, but it's just as good as any game in the franchise. It's really good. Like, almost Studio Ghibli okay, well, no, never mind, it's definitely not on that level, but at least it properly takes inspiration from that legendary studio. The Professor and Luke are back on another adventure when suddenly they get wrapped up in an opera singer's mysterious mystery and will traverse land, sea, and air in order to solve it. They even managed to include some light puzzle solving on the viewer's part, although the movie obviously reveals the answer. Regardless, this is a movie that'll keep you guessing. The spirit of the visuals and sound are like they're straight out of a 3DS game, but at a quality that you would expect for the silver screen. And it captured the charm and whimsy that fans love through the many relationships forged by the Professor and his #1 assistant. Professor Layton and the Eternal Diva may not be as popular as some of the other movies on this list, but that won't keep it from being, in our humble opinion, the greatest video game movie of all time. And for our secret number 11, we wanted to give props to that other Street Fighter movie worth watching, but we'll kind of let its best moments do all the talking.
For you, the day Bison graced your village was the most important day of your life. But for me, it was Tuesday.